Hi friends and welcome back to another episode of TT Reacts. Alright, first up, people must think I have too much time on my hands. Yes. But how are we using the time in question? So this person has an arch and his feet are separated, which we don't want. We need our feet to be together and our ankles squeezing and creating tension to help us better stabilize this movement. He's also leaning to one side, which, obviously is not very good. And I will say I do like where your head is at, but it looks like you may be using a little bit too much chest in this movement. And then you're using your feet to kind of offset the lack of balance that you seem to have. This way of practicing is very unsafe because you are at risk of injuring your lower back and pinching your nerves. And it's just not worth it. And it's also not a good handstand. It's not stable. And it's not engaging all the muscle groups that you should be aiming to engage for this movement. So I would suggest this person go through the circuit drills, learn where your feet need to go because where they're currently placed is not the correct spot. And you need to learn how to have full body harmony rather than using one or two muscle groups and then overcompensating by doing an unsafe movement. So yes, do the circuit drills. Make sure you're warming up before you do this movement. And yes, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for the drills. And as you improve, you're going to inch closer and closer to a good free handstand. Looking for tips and feedback on handstand balance and form and consistent balance. Okay. So this person, I do like the way that she kicks up. You can see her pelvis is tucked before she goes up into that movement. And she neatly places each foot in their designated spots. However, it doesn't look like she squeezes her ankles at the top. Let me look at this again. No, she's not squeezing her ankles at the top, so it's not going to have that full body tension. And another thing with these straight handstands, I feel like the foot placement is it's not where you're going to get the maximum core engagement. It looks like she may have a tiny bit, but it doesn't look like her feet, wherever it is that she placed it, that's the correct spot for the most ab engagement, for it to be the most stable. And then you couple that with the fact that her ankles aren't squeezed together. And I also don't know what her breathing patterns are. Every time I see a video of people with like a super red face, I feel like the breathing methods may not be good enough. Or their head just is not in the correct position. Because your face should not be getting progressively redder and redder and redder over the course of the handstand, because you should be breathing through the handstand and making sure that your head is in the correct spot so that you can breathe and do this workout. Similarly to any other workout that you're doing, if you're breathing properly, it's going to be less stressful. It's going to have less blood flow restriction to where your face is getting so red and making you look like you're going to pass out. I don't think that's how it should be. You should be able to breathe from the beginning to the end and make sure that you're bracing properly for that movement. So it could be a bracing issue as well. But for this person, yes, she's not squeezing at the top, but in terms of her overall form, I think it's okay, but I would practice and look for the place where you could breathe the best. And also make sure that your foot placement is where you can feel the most grab in your core. Cause the way that she kicked up, it looks like she put one foot in line and then the other foot comes up. However, that does not necessarily mean it's in the best spot for her body. So, yeah, do that and see which one it is. It's hard to tell when I'm judging these straight handstands because I just think the form in itself is not the best to engage all of your muscles. So this looks like it could be an advanced person. And I do want everyone to take a look at the way that his body is angled and just his, well, let me not say his overall form because I think his head is down a bit low for what he is doing in this movement and his arms are spread out kind of far. So he may just be an advanced person, which is perfectly fine. But let's take a look at the way that his legs are angled like this and his body is straight like this. So what this allows you to do is to tuck your pelvis the best that you possibly can and then have your feet in the spot that's holding the handstand up. So this is what I mean when I say keep your legs at an angle or keep your feet more toward your stomach. It's because your feet, when they're angled in front, that ensures that your pelvis is 100% tucked and that you can get the maximum tightness in your core. So this man here, he has a mix between the straight handstand just due to his back, the way that he put his back is very straight, but he's also doing what I encourage at the same time, which is to keep your feet where you can get the maximum ab engagement. So I do like this. I hope he can breathe in this handstand. I mean, if he's advanced, he probably can. So yeah, I don't see any issues with it. I just wanted to point out that I do like the way his legs are angled. And this is what I mean when I say tuck your pelvis to the maximum. Latest straight hold. So this is a strong queen. You can see in this movement how she is engaging all of her muscles in order to keep this movement up. You can see that as she moves her legs, she's going in and out of ab engagement. It seems that she does not know exactly where her feet need to be because she's trying so hard to point her feet. She didn't establish where her feet need to go before she established the fact that she needs to point them, which it's not necessary to point your feet. So I would recommend this lady to do the circuit drills. This first one will really help you to figure out where your feet are going and where the sweet spot is in terms of grabbing the movement with your abdominal muscles. First and foremost, that's more important than pointing your feet. When it comes to doing a handstand, we need to know where our feet are going. And that is number one. But if you don't know where your feet are going and you have this strength and balance, this is how your handstand will look. It's good enough, but not stable. It didn't stay stable for more than a second at a time before she had to move her feet again and adjust her balance because her feet are not in the correct spot. Alrighty friends, that was the last video. If you liked the video, go ahead and like it and subscribe. And if you would like to be featured, go ahead and send your video to this email right here and you may see it in an upcoming video. But until next time, ciao.